All right, welcome back. How y'all doing? Today, we're going to talk about self-sabotage. I don't really know what area of this we're going to get into because we never know what areas of anything we're going to get into because we just go off. So, I don't know if you had anything specific. I know you said you listened to a song that sparked it. I know I can talk about this for days, but as soon as you say something that sparks the right thing, I know I'll go off. So I'll let you start with your experience and like what brought that up for you, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. I can't play the song due to copyright issues.
Bitch.
But Shinedown has a song that I absolutely love, and it's called Monsters. Let me bring up the little thing that he was saying. Um,
I feel like you sent that to me at one
I
point.
did,
Okay, because
yes.
I feel like I was going through some shit, you know. uh, yeah, I feel like I definitely listened to that from you at one point.
Yeah, it's a very good song. It like sits there. It like
Like ruminates.
yeah, it speaks to me.
Yeah.
So he the lead singer had battled with substance abuse, and everybody figured that it was about that, but it's not really about that. It's about like everything that culminates it. So this is what he says. He says, um uh, he kicked the habit. He still has to take it one day at a time. It says that's how I have to do it. But the dynamic in the song is not just about substance abuse. It's about a lot of different situations that people get in because they have things in their mind that for whatever reason they use to sabotage themselves. They don't know why they do it, but they do it, and these moments are what he's talking about. And
Mhm.
it says the masks represent because he did two videos. He did a live action video, and it's about this woman who her her husband was a soldier and he died.
Uh huh.
So and then about the events that kind of led up to all of her bad decisions and stuff. Um, so there is a cartoon version
Mhm.
of the video that they did that has a bunch of masks and stuff, and it says the masks represents the part of your psyche that make you afraid of who you are.
Mhm.
And inside of that, from an album standpoint, attention, which is what that the album the song is on, and it's a very, very, very good album. It's all about being afraid. It's all about not being afraid to fail and not being afraid, period, because you're not going to be defined by your failures. You'll be defined by the fact that you refuse to give up. Your monsters may be real, but that doesn't mean you have to give into them.
Okay.
So, and if you if you listen to the song, um I'm just gonna read part of it. Let me see, where is here it is.
I'm about to go in on this as soon as you're done.
So okay. Good. It says, good for you. You fooled everybody. Good for you. You fooled everyone. Good for you. Now you're somebody. Good for you. You fooled everyone. Um, Leave your weapon on the table, wrapped in burlap, barely able. Don't get angry. Don't discourage. Take a shot of liquid courage. And the chorus goes, because my monsters are real, and they're trained how to kill, and there's no coming back. They just laugh at how I feel. And these monsters can fly, and they'll never say die, and there's no going back. If I get trapped, I'll never heal. Yeah, my monsters are real. So I used to have this. What's funny is when I was going through all of that stuff with Dylan, which I'm actually not afraid to talk about him.
Hey, go
you,
ahead.
Yeah, it used to bring up some really, really bad feelings. But
Mm-hmm.
when I was going through that, I used to listen to that song like over and over and over. And you think about it, that song just makes you think, because there's a lot of stuff that I've been through in life, and you too, you've been through a lot. Of course, you've been through way more than me. But um there's quite a bit that I've been through in life to get me to where I am. And I have always said that what has happened to me in life, um, is part of me, but
Oh
it
yeah.
does not define me. It does
Yes.
not define who I am. And, you know, people are meant to come into your life, and your life, I see. You can control your life. Yes, you
Mm-hmm.
can control what happens in your life. You do control it. But things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen for a reason, and you never want to use what happened to yourself in the past to prevent you from doing things now.
Mm-hmm.
And people come into your life at the point they are meant to come in. You can sit there and argue this with me all you want, but I believe people come into your life in at a certain time for a certain reason.
Yes.
And Dylan and Heather came into my life right about the same time. And Dylan not kind of, he did. He helped me get out of my shell. He helped me realize that I am worth way more than,
Mm-hmm.
what I gave myself. He could have been, lying the entire time, but
But what you felt from it was
it,
real.
what I felt from it was
Right.
real,
Right.
and the real connection. And then Heather, of course, is my best friend.
Hey.
Heather and I are pretty much inseparable, honestly. We
Even
don't
from halfway across the country.
right. We don't get tired of each other, and if we do, we go to separate rooms.
And I don't even think we've had to do that.
No, we've never had to do that. And she, in turn, has helped me not be afraid to do things. Like, there's so many things that I wanted to do. I wanted to get into makeup, and I wanted to, start my YouTube and do all of this, and I never did it because, I've always said this, that I've felt like I'm too old.
Mm-hmm.
And she's helped me in the fact that, no matter, it doesn't matter, as long as you're happy with what you're doing. You're never too old to do something. You were never too old to switch jobs or to decide you want to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've just got to do it, and you've got to believe in yourself. And that's the aspect that she brought into me, that I'm very much able to believe in myself and believe that I can do it, and not, I still care about other people. Okay, I do, but to a certain point, not care what other people think.
Well, you can care, but you can care to like your own detriment. And I think that that's just like part of growth because I've done the same thing. I was just talking about that today. Like, I cared too much about what this person thought or that person thought, and I didn't do the things that I should have been doing for myself that made me happy, where I could have excelled, where I could have succeeded. And my thing is like, okay, so you want to talk about self-sabotage? Like, I'm 28, right? And I could look at myself and I could be like, oh my God, I should have done this shit 10 years ago. I can't do it now. But like that's not, it's all about your mindset. And I feel like when you talk about self-sabotage, it really does come down to your worth. I think it's interesting that we look at the past the same but different. So Maria said your past doesn't, like, it's a part of you, but it doesn't define you. But I get the same message out of what you were saying, the depth of it. But
Mm-hmm.
I still look at it like, it's like a very, in my mind, my past does define me, but not, it doesn't define me in the sense of, okay, I went through this, so that means I am like, this is my worth. What
Right.
in my mind, it's like, okay, so I went through these things, and because of that, I either grew from it or I stood still. And where I grew,
Mm-hmm.
that has helped define me, whether it's been shitty relationships, whether it's been
Right.
shitty circumstances, living out my car, living with my
Well,
parents, like,
yeah, it's a part of you, and It has. It's helped you define some of your decisions. It's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
But I think that it does come down to self-worth, because at the end of the day, you're not going to sabotage something if you feel like you're worth it. You know what I'm saying? So if you feel like you're worth something, if you feel like, I deserve this from myself, or I deserve this in my life, or whatever, then you're not going to fuck it up. But when you're in a fucked up mental space, and I think this has also a lot to do with like the company you surround yourself with, it has a lot to do with what you've been through in life, how you've grown from it, how you haven't grown from it, whatever. You have to like build that mindset to get there. And once you build up that mindset of like, okay, like you said, it's like, okay, I hear what you're saying, but you have to start analyzing, like, where is that coming from for you, right? So if I say I want to do this and someone says, well, you can't do that, first of all, can't isn't in my fucking vocabulary. We're not even going to start there. We're not going to talk about can't. Okay, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do, but that mindset took a long time to get to, and it took going through a lot of like therapy and experiences and being fucked over and being treated good, being treated bad, whatever, to recognize like, okay, so you feel this way about this. What happened to you? And I've talked about that before. I've talked about like how you get to a point in your life where you stop internalizing everything around you and you start looking at, what did that person go through? And my ex hated it. He hated it because he'd be like, you're psychoanalyzing me. No, dude, I'm being mindful enough to say, okay, where am I wrong in my thought process? And if I break it down and I really don't feel like I'm wrong in my thought process, and I'm believing in myself and I'm being positive, my heart's good, my mind's good, my soul's good, whatever, but you have all this other shit that you're projecting onto me. So if I've done my self-evaluation and I recognize like there's nothing wrong with what I'm saying, it just doesn't coincide with what you want, then I have to look and say, okay, well, why don't you want me to succeed? Right? And a lot of people, from what I've experienced, they don't want to see you succeed because they're scared of succeeding, which is literally something that was said to me. They're afraid of succeeding. They're afraid of seeing you do better because it's easier for them if you're stuck on their level. If you're stuck on somebody else's level,
That's the truth.
yeah, they have no competition. They have nothing to envy. And if they can pull you back into that, if they can pull you back down to their level, they're going to. And that's why I say it's so important about like who you surround yourself with. What's the rule? The rule is you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So if you're in a relationship, right? If you're in a relationship with somebody and you're spending all your time with somebody who's just negative and mean and they talk down to you and they make you feel worthless and they're constantly reminding you that you're not good enough. And then you're spending time with like friends and family who are constantly telling you can't reach your goals, you're not going to be able to do this, you got to take it different. And Maria knows I've been going through this all the time lately. You have to shift your focus, and that's what they want. They want to get you off track, because as soon as they get you off track, you're not following your dream anymore. You're doing what puts you on their level because they feel comfortable with you being right here with them because they're stuck. Misery loves fucking company. And if you're stuck with them, they're not alone. But then if you succeed, everybody wants something from you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's the thing, like, I think that it's important when you shake off that, like, you can't, you won't, whatever, and you just focus and you get there, which I wish I would have learned a lot sooner in my life, but like, everything happens for a reason. When you shake that off and you got to remember where you're going, and you got to remember who didn't try and pull you back down. And that's something that I feel like it's so funny because you said you met me and Dylan at the same time, and we had very similar roles but very different roles. And I've been saying this. I've noticed it a lot lately. Life will put someone really good for me in my life at the same time that life puts someone really bad for me in my life. And typically, my self-worth was not where it should have been, and I'd be like, yo, that person over there, that good person, like, fuck them, like, they're good, they don't need me. You know what I'm saying? And then I would go gravitate towards the negative because I felt like I can build you, I can make you better, I can get you to where I'm going. When in reality, why not just fucking fuck with the person who's already on your level, who's gonna push you to be better? Because you can try and save somebody all day. If they're gonna drown, they're gonna drown with you. They're not. You're not gonna sit there and fucking float above them and do your shit. They're gonna take you down with them because that's how it works. I mean, there's studies done on this. There's studies where they've integrated different demographics of people to see if the better off will raise the less fortunate. And what happens is the ones who are better off, they end up failing because that's how strong negative energy is. That's how strong That's how strong that hate and that evil is. Like, it'll drag you right down with it. And you have to be strong enough. And that's why people who are successful are rare. People who are mindful are rare. People who are empathetic are rare. People who have strong hearts and are loving and giving are rare, because it's so much easier to give into that negativity, to listen to your coworker's drama, to listen to someone who says that's a pipe dream, who listens to someone who says you're never going to make it, and like let that ruminate. It's so much easier to run with that than it is to be like, yo, I don't care about your baby mama. I don't care about I don't care about Susie's husband's girlfriend. I don't care about, the fact that you lost your dreams. You lost your dreams because you let them go. You know what I'm saying? So it's a choice. It's an active choice. And I can honestly say that, like, in my life, I've self-sabotaged so much. But even like right now, Maria and I were on the phone before we did this, and I was talking to Maria, and I said, I'll say this before I get into that, is that if I were where I am right now 10 years ago, and I was, but like worse off, if I was right now where I was 10 years ago, I would fold. I would fold, and I would just be like, fuck this. Like, I don't have anything. My life is terrible. I'm sad. There's nothing. But being where I am now, I told Maria on the phone earlier, I said, I have you, and I have one other person, and I have my daughter that give me all the good energy, all the love, all the fucking hype, all the confidence, all the positivity. Like, and that's all I need. Like, I don't have anything else. I don't have a damn job right now. My car doesn't work right. Well, I mean, it works right. It doesn't have AC. The other car that I was using for
Yeah.
my fucking side job, like, that car can't run right now. Like, but you know what? I'm like, I have amazing people in my life, and I have a roof over my head, and my mind is good. And it's crazy, because sometimes you have to have nothing to get your mind good, because you start appreciating all that little shit. You start appreciating $1 way more. You start appreciating the meal that you're
Yeah.
eating way more. I was like, shit. I told Maria, I said, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I can't even buy my daughter fucking ramen noodles half the time, and I feel like shit about it. But I know that if I just work through what's happening right now, this is the point that people give up. This is when shit gets hard, and you feel like you're stuck, and you feel like you can't make it, and the odds are against you, and you have nothing and nobody. You forget about the people that you have, and you forget about what you do have, and people give up. And if you've ever seen that image of the guy, he's like mining, and he's chipping away, chipping away, chipping away, and there's this huge void behind him where he's chipped away, chipped away, chipped away, and he's at the end, and he's like, I give up. And there's like, there, y'all can't see, there's like maybe a foot of space, right? Where if he just kept going, there's gold on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is. Like, you can't be looking at these situations and going, oh my God, the world is against me. Life is against me. No, you're down because, listen, the harder the fucking drop, the higher the bounce, right? So you're down because you got to hit the bottom to get all the way back up. And I highly believe in that. I highly believe in that. And I have had my moments where I feel really bad for myself, but you got to sit back and you have to evaluate and just ask yourself, like, okay, but what am I doing? Where's my mind at, and who do I have? And having two amazing people and a beautiful daughter in my life is better than nothing. And I'd
Yep.
rather have good people, and I'd rather have good energy, and I'd rather have people inspiring me, and I'd rather be putting my energy into creative things and fueling others and fueling myself than have all the money in the world and be
Mm-hmm.
fucking miserable by my damn self.
Exactly.
I know I just
Exactly.
I know I just went the fuck off. My bad.
No, no, it's fine. I mean, it's the truth. That's the thing. And like I told um Mark, I mean, before, I had money and I was miserable. And when I married him, he didn't have a job.
Mhm.
Um, so and then I got laid off, and when he did get a job, it was like minimum wage. So we
Mhm.
had like nothing. We had nothing to our name. And normally, if things like that would happen, I'd kind of fold into myself, which is
Mhm.
my usual thing. I'd fold into myself. But, of course, I had my kids. But, Mark was there, and Mark had been through this all his life. I mean,
Mhm.
he didn't have anything when he was a kid. They were poor. So besides, of course, family,
Mhm.
uh, then he knows how it is. He knows
Mm-hmm.
how to, how life is like that. And of course I didn't. I grew up in upper middle class. so,
Right.
so I always had, things. And um but that's the thing. When I did have all of the money, I was miserable,
Mm-hmm.
but I was completely happy with virtually nothing because
Yep.
of the people that I was surrounded by, family and, Mark. I was surrounded by complete positivity, and I was completely happy. I mean, now we're doing a hell of a lot better than we, were,
Mm-hmm.
and to the point where I can stay home, but I now value that
Mm-hmm.
way more than I did way back then.
Mm-hmm.
I value what I have now. And I think that I had to go through that in order to learn that, because
Oh, for sure.
I'd never known how it is to struggle before.
Mm-hmm. It's
And
so
I took
funny.
money
Go
for
ahead.
granted a lot. I took money for granted a lot.
Well, and it's so funny to like have these dynamics with relationships and friendships and sometimes family. Like I don't think my family is really like that because I feel like we all kind of have struggled in our own different ways. And I feel like I've struggled more than some people in my family, and other people have struggled more than me. But it's interesting because as you get older and you start meeting people who grew up differently than you, it's that's something that I personally have noticed. And I love that like you've been on both sides of it because you can attest to the fact that when you're so used to having everything, you don't appreciate it the way you do when you have nothing.
Right.
And when you have nothing, right? When you have nothing and you grew up struggling and that's what you know. And I have a lot of like different things popping in my head right now that I don't necessarily want to touch on, but when you're just used to being treated a certain way and you're used to being treated a certain way by certain people
Mm,
and for me in my life it was like I got treated one way by this person, my family, that person, my family. I got treated like this by men. I got treated by like this by friends. I got betrayed by my friends. Men looked at me like I was just a piece of meat and then fucking worthless. And then you start feeling that way. You start feeling like that's what I'm worth. Like I'm not anything. I'm not worth anything to anybody. Um, and that's where that sabotage kicks in. And that's why I say like knowing what you deserve and knowing your worth is like number one. I remember I was going through my shit with my ex and my friend Linnea, who was on our podcast at one point. I was just I don't know why I reached out to her, but it's crazy because like Maria said, people put the right people in your life at the right
mm,
time for a reason. And I reached out to her just like I can't do it. Like I'm struggling. I don't remember exactly what my text was, but he was acting up and I was just like I need someone to talk to. And she gave me this really long message. She's like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna tell you what you want to hear. And she was telling me like you accept the love that you think you deserve. And in hindsight, like it's like that with anything in your life. It's not just about relationships. It's not just about who you're laying next to. It's like that with your job. It's like that with your friendships. It's like that with your how you act with your kids and the type of family that you create. It's about that with whatever your side hustles are, whatever you see in yourself. And if you don't think that you deserve good things,
mhm.
right, then you're telling yourself, right, okay, and your thoughts, we've talked about this. You live with you your entire life. No one talks to you more than you talk to your damn self. And if your thoughts are always sitting here talking about how you're not worthy, you don't deserve it, da 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 da, then you are going to bring that energy into your life and you're never going to get what you do deserve because everybody's got the potential to deserve good things, but everybody doesn't have the right mindset. So if you're constantly like, I can't, you're not going to go anywhere. Your ass is going to sit right the fuck where you are, or you're going to move backwards. Whereas when you start shifting, and I can attest to this, and Maria knows, like
Oh
there's
yeah.
been a big shift in general. I try to focus on my gratitude, even though I don't change it on my whiteboard every day. I think about my gratitude every day. I give myself affirmations every day, even if it's just within the four walls of my mind. Like I have to tell myself like I'm worthy, I'm good enough, I'm a good mother, I'm a good woman, I'm a good person. My heart is good. Good things are coming to me. I'm working on building this life. My circumstances don't define what's next. And you have to like, that's how people become successful. They take leaps because they believe in themselves. We got to stop looking for everybody else to believe in us, because at the end of the day, if my dad believes in me, my mom, my brother, my friends, you know, whoever, everyone can believe in me. But if I don't have it up top, like, then it doesn't matter. None
Mhm.
of it matters. And I think that's a lesson that like people don't learn. We're all looking for this reassurance from everybody around us. We're all looking for somebody to say, okay, you're good enough, and pat us on the back. But if you don't believe that yourself, it doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Like, you got to wake up every day and you have to have those thoughts in your own head to push you to go do the shit that you want to do. Because let me tell you something. First of all, nobody wants something for you as much as you want something for you. Let's start there. Number
Yeah.
two, all those people who fucking support you, they're not going to be next to your bed in the morning going, get up, you got to do this. Get up, you got to do this. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing
Yep.
that? You know, why aren't you investing in yourself? Why aren't you doing your gratitude? Why aren't you meditating? Why, you know, no one's going to kick your ass out of bed and do that. So you have to learn to do that for yourself. Otherwise,
Hmm.
you're going to have all this potential. You're going to have all this shit in your mind that you want to do. And you're going to wake up every day and you're going to find a reason to keep your ass right there with your head on the pillow, or pacing around your house going, oh, but it could be,
Yep.
would be, should be, whatever, but you're not doing anything with it because you're not right up here. And I think that's something that people don't realize before they start trying to invest in themselves. The best way you can invest in yourself, first and foremost, before you put money on anything, before you start bringing other people into anything, is you got to get right with yourself. You have to forgive yourself for the shit you've done wrong. You got to forgive yourself for the shit you've been through that was beyond your control. You got to forgive yourself for not doing what you feel like you should have done sooner. You have to get your mind right, and you have to say, okay, all that's there, but I'm here now. And that's just mindfulness. That's mindfulness, and it's self-care. When you start worrying about what's happening right now, what's in front of you right now, what's available to you right now, you worry about the past. We were just talking about this recently. When you're in
Hmm.
the past, you're depressed. When you live in the past, you're fucking depressed. And when you're stressed out about what the fuck could, couldn't, might, I don't know, happen later, you're anxious as fuck. And to me, both of those, even though I feel both of those and I know that those feelings are real and valid, they are fucking useless, because anxiety is going to hold me back and the depression is going to hold me back, because I can't change what the fuck's already happened. And the only way I can change what's going to happen is with focusing on what the fuck's happening right now. Like, that's the only way that you can make that
Yep.
change. So they're useless. They're useless feelings. And it sucks because we feel them and they're totally valid, but they're useless. They don't do anything but keep you just sinking. And it's just, it's not worth it. You have so much more shit. You know, I was saying the other day, I can wake up every day and go, I don't have money. I don't have a job. I don't have this. I could fucking rattle you off a list. I've been through da 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 da. And I could be so sad. Or I could wake up and go, okay, well, I've got my mind, my people, and, drive, you know, and that can be enough. And not enough people are doing that. So many people, you're so comfortable with your circumstances,
Hmm.
depending on somebody else, working a job you don't want to fucking work. You know, doing whatever shit you got to do to make money just to fucking pay the bills, even if it's like not, even if it's not, you know, the right thing to be doing. Um, it's just your mind's not right, and when you start settling for all those things, the circumstances that you're currently in, you're gonna look back in 10 years and be like, damn, I'm in the same spot, because you don't.
Oh, yeah, and I have done that.
Yeah, fucking, well, not necessarily same, but like, but same. Kinda.
Yeah, I have done that. I mean, and the you in podcast land, okay, the listeners over here, if y'all have been with us from the beginning, from like the beginning, other podcasts,
Right.
I've said this to myself, you know, or I've said this before, that, and this is something, you know, small, but, you know, as far as my channel and in my Instagram and all of that growing, that it hasn't grown because I didn't do anything, because I didn't think I was good enough. And I'm like, I should be a lot further than I am now,
Mm-hmm.
because I got into my head. I got into my head and I stayed where I was, and I was stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't grow because of that fact.
Right.
I'm doing something about it now, And I mean, and it's just like complete difference. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
now, okay, all of that's out of my head. I'm not even thinking that anymore. My thought is, what do I have to do next? What do I have to do to better myself? What do I have to do to better my channel? How do I get better content? How do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I've got all these ideas, and everything is just blowing up because I completely got that out of my head. I'm not going to let that bring me down. I'm not going to let um that fear into my head again and make me lose focus of where I want to get to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm even learning new things. I'm learning how to do graphics, and I'm learning how to do posts and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, on my own instead of what I would normally do with pay somebody else. Learning how to do that on my own and taking the time to do that stuff
Mm-hmm.
so everything can look better and a lot more professional. So and back then I wouldn't have done that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do have an intro, but it's an intro that I use that I did, that was really quick, that was came from the software that I'm using.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm working on customizing my intro, I'm working on customizing my logo, I'm working on doing all of this and doing it on my own with free software or with very cheap monthly memberships, and getting all of that. I mean, I've learned how to
Mm-hmm.
turn my logo into a GIF that I can use on um, my Instagram stories, or other things like that. It's just, I've gotten myself enthralled in it.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, my point being is, when you finally realize, yes, I do deserve this. Yes, I can, yes, I can do this. Nothing is going to stop you. Nothing will stop you from
No.
that. I mean, and I've had people tell me this, that you're crazy. You're not going to get where you want to get. And I'm like, maybe I won't, but at least I know I tried.
Right. And when you have that belief in yourself, you are so much more likely to get there. And that's the biggest thing. Like, don't let everybody who's saying you can't stop you. I love that you said that you just started doing it all yourself, because we were watching a Nipsey Hussle interview, and he was talking about when he started, he was doing he did everything. Like, he manufactured all his music by himself. He did it by himself. And then he said, so then when I got somewhere else and there was an engineer who said, "Oh, you can't do that." He's like, "Yes, the fuck you can. Like, I've done this before." And I think that's important too. Like, you talk about relying on other people, but people will let you down. And I'm not saying that to like be shitty, but whether you're paying somebody, it's your friend, it's your family, like, people will let you down, and people will not always produce what you are looking for. And I think it's beautiful to learn to do things yourself. My stepmom, you said I'm learning all these new things. How old are you, Maria?
41.
41. Okay. So my stepmom was about the same age, and my dad had gotten a this yellow Pontiac stick shift, and he was so like, I think it was a Pontiac. He was so like, yo, my dad, you would have thought this motherfucker was fast and furious, right? And so my stepmom doesn't know how to drive a manual. So my dad was like, let me teach you. And she was like, no, I'm too old to learn new things. That mindset is a limiting mindset. You
Oh
cannot
no. Yeah.
have a limiting mindset. When you limit yourself, you limit yourself. Like, who the fuck says I'm too old to learn something? No, okay, so let me get this straight. You hit a certain
That's
point in your life.
crazy.
Right. So okay, so you hit a certain point in your life and you just die, because to me you just died. If you're standing still, you're not doing anything. You might as well just be 1 foot in the goddamn grave. If you're not willing to learn something else, you're not willing to keep growing in your life. If I'm not growing when I'm fucking walking around fucking trucking my damn walker, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care if I got to learn how to do some crazy fucking dance moves with my damn walker. I want to learn something. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you cannot have that type of mindset and think that you're going somewhere. And this is also, people like that. It's so funny because um they'll tell you to believe in yourself and da 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 da. And then when you have big dreams, they want to confine them. And then when you want to learn new things, they want to confine that. They want to put you in a box. And a lot of people listen to it, but they're the same people who tell you to follow what you love. And it's so contradicting and it's frustrating, because it's like, I don't want to take advice from someone who isn't willing to do the shit that I'm willing to do. I'm
Exactly.
Right. I'm not going to sit here, right? If I want to make $1,000,000, I'm not going to go to somebody who's fucking broke and be like, yo, how do you make $1,000,000? Because that person, they don't know. They don't know. They haven't done it. You know what I'm saying? But like, if I want to go to somebody who's going to teach me to just be better, teach me a new skill, like you're not going to go to a mechanic and be like, hey, can you give me a teeth cleaning? Like that's not how it works, right? Because that they don't know about that. You can't go to people who don't know what the fuck you're talking about and ask them for advice. And it's just like that with these limiting fucking mindsets. You can't go to somebody who has already cut themselves off at the knees and be like, hey, I want to be better, because that person can tell you, oh yeah, you can do that, but they don't even believe they can do better. So you know what I'm saying? Like you can't get something from somebody that they can't even give to themselves. And I noticed in my life that I was always looking for reassurance, and I was always looking for just like any type of affirmation from anybody. And I wanted it from certain people, and I wasn't getting it from certain people, or when I did, it was very like pushed off. Like I was just telling Maria about a conversation I had where, you know, I'm like, these are the things going on, and it was like, okay, you know, and it's like it's like the responses are so generic
Mm-hmm.
because people don't care. And it's like we look for all of those traits in people we feel like should care. We look for those traits in people we think should love us and who should want to support us. But at the end of the day, sometimes the people you love the fucking most, sometimes the people that you think are fucking by your side through anything, are the first ones to be like, yeah, good luck with that. Nah. And
Yep,
it's and you know what?
that's
That's
true.
the shit. That's the shit that when you're all the way up here and you're high on your shit and you're like, I'm gonna do so good, it can knock you right back down, and you can't
Mhm.
you can't let it. And I've said that before on our podcast. Like you have to shift, right? You have to shift, and you have to recognize, okay, well, I'm not gonna get this here. My brother talked to me. He said, you don't talk to us about your mental health. I said, okay, why do you think that is? And he goes, I don't know. And I said, well, when I talk to anybody in my family about my mental health, it is the conversation shifts, because we don't want to talk about that. It's like, and I wouldn't even say it's taboo, because it's not. It's just like it's not as important. Someone else is going through something worse. My shit isn't that bad. I need to get over it. Mind you, I'm probably in the worst spot of anybody right now in my family. But like, you know, everybody's got something worse going on. And you know, I said, I don't come to y'all because I don't get what I need. And most of the time, all I need is just for someone to care. And it just doesn't feel like it. So what, and after years and years of feeling that pain and ending up back in a hole, because I was taking that energy and applying it to my already bad energy. I was literally just layering bad energy on bad energy, right? After years of doing that, I shifted my focus and I started paying attention to people like Maria and people who I know are on my side. And the thing is, when I say people on your side, that doesn't mean people who are just going to tell you what you want to hear. That doesn't mean it's people who are just going to appease you because you're sad right now or because you're stuck right now. You got to find those people who are going to be honest with you, but still help you build yourself back up. Because let me tell you, there's a lot of people who will look at you dead in the fucking eye and tell you you're worth it, you're great, you're going to make it, you're going to do something great, and they don't give a fuck about you. But the people
That's
who
the
really
truth.
give, yeah, the people who really give a fuck will sit there and be like, hey, by the way, you're fucking up. What are you doing? Like, I love you and I know you're sad. And then they give you the sweet stuff later. You know, you end it on a good note. But they're the people who truly care will look at you and be like, the fuck are you doing? And then they'll help you through it. So you got to stop looking for all the positivity and the good energy and the people that are going to build you up in the people who aren't. That's not going to help anything. I've had so many years with so many things that I could have done with my life, and I didn't because I let other people determine my worth for me. And like at the end of the day, that shit's just toxic. It's toxic.
Right. And not only that, you'll also you surround yourself with people like people that don't care, and you're gonna start making excuses for yourself.
Yeah.
You're gonna make excuses for things. Like I am a professional student. Okay, I call myself that because I am constantly learning. Not only that, uh, I went to school for personal training because I wanted to lose weight. It wasn't because I wanted to be a personal trainer. I wanted to lose weight. And I wanted to know the ins and outs of everything. That is how far I go when I want to learn something. And people that are over here like, I can't afford this or I can't afford that. You know what? YouTube it. There are so many how-to videos on
Yes.
YouTube that my camera settings, my lighting settings, my all of that I learned off of YouTube. I didn't know that I could plug my Yeti into my DSLR camera until maybe a year ago. And I learned that because I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do this. I typed it in and there's the YouTube video.
Right.
you know,
Right.
and like I said, I'm doing my own graphics and things like that. What did I do? I searched it up and popped YouTube videos all over the place on how to do all of this and how to do it for free,
Mm-hmm.
using free software that you can get on, Canva and
Mm-hmm.
PicMonkey, things like that. And then, if you want the little more advanced features, you can pay monthly for each of those. So
Mm-hmm.
um there's things out there that'll tell you how you can do things, how you can start making money and things like this for free,
Mm-hmm.
just by doing this and getting yourself started and then working your ass off to get where you need to get to start making money. So I mean, if you are so in your head or let other people be in your head and, oh, you can't do this, you can't do this, you'll
Mm-hmm.
start making excuses for yourself. Oh, I can't afford the money to, hire somebody to make a logo for me. Shit, do that crap yourself. It may be the shittiest logo that you've ever seen,
But it's
but
something.
it's something. And then later on down the road, when you are making money, when you are, do have the money for that, you can put the money back into your business and say, hey, I need something a little more professional, and then hire somebody to do that. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, don't make excuses thinking that you have to have all the money in the world and you have to have everything that has to look perfect all at once, or else you're never going to start, like, ever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I'm a testament to that too, because I've done that before. I'm like, I have to have this, I have to have that, and I'll spend all the money on this, and then what happens? I never do shit with it because I just don't, because I don't think I'm good enough. And then now all that money's spent for nothing. Why don't you just get yourself started, and then later on you can start putting money into it and doing all of that. So, but hell, shit, you could probably make stuff better than anybody else that you hire because you know what you want.
Right. Right. And like with that, talking about technology, like technology, we like people don't even. We're so disconnected in a time where it's so easy to be connected, right? Like
Yeah.
you can write anybody on the fucking internet and get a response. You can ask for help for anything and get a response. You can look up a video, you can look up an article, you can read a blog, you can do all these different things and you can get the help that you need. We are more connected now than ever before and no one's using that shit to their advantage, which makes zero goddamn sense to me. So it's like, yeah, if you need to learn how to do something. If you want to take a leap and reach out to somebody who can help you further whatever the fuck you're trying to do, even if it's just a blind fucking leap of faith, but you can now. And back in the day, you couldn't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't just YouTube a fucking video. You couldn't just Instagram DM a
Yep.
fucking artist or like I mean I've written fucking comedian like there's this comedian that I really like and she's responded to me like there's it's limitless. The problem is people are so scared to just fucking take a chance on yourself because you don't think that you are worthy of the chance that you could give yourself. And most people are waiting for somebody to hand the chance to them. And that's something I get so tired of watching people. This is why I love Gary Vee, right? Because Gary Vee talks about, he's like, listen, all these people want to sell you $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 courses on how to get rich, but I'm giving it
Mhm.
to you for free Right? And that's a great resource, by the way. If you don't listen to Gary Vee, fucking listen to Gary Vee. That man will just blow your damn mind. But we just like people don't want to take chances on themselves. People don't want to take a leap. Here's how I look at it, right? Okay, if I want to learn something, right? Let's say I want to learn how to barber because I'm a hairstylist. Let's say I want to learn to barber under one of my favorite barbers, right? I could take a chance and I could reach out and say, I want to learn under you. The worst thing that's going to happen is they say no, or they don't read it. Okay, but at least I took that chance. Like I wrote an artist, or I talked to an artist who is teaching a class here, and she is amazing. And I wrote her, and hold on, I wrote her, and I saw her at a class, and I said I want to learn under you. She said, okay, it's this much money for this many days. Just email me. People are so scared to just take fucking chances. Like, you know what I wish I would have done? So when I was younger, I'm telling you all this story because I feel like it's necessary. Because again, it's that limiting mindset. And I had a limiting mindset. I let one person tell me I couldn't be a musician, and so I didn't do it. And I wish I would have kicked it out. And my mom took me to New York one time, and we're walking around the streets of New York, and there's this guy, and he hands me his CD. And he's like, I want you to listen to this. Like, I'm an artist. I'm trying to build. Like, I want to be great one day. I want you to take my CD and listen to my music. And I stood on, I think we were outside of Virgin Records. And I was like, okay, let me hear it. And he was like, what? I said, let me hear it. Like, drop something for me. And he did. And then my mom, we listened, and he was really good. And my mom was like, you have to be willing to do the same thing. Right? And I wish that then when I had all these people, I had so many resources at my hands. I had people with studios. I was writing songs out the ass. I was playing my guitar all the time. I didn't go anywhere without my guitar. I didn't do anything without singing. Like everything, that was my life. And I didn't take advantage of that. And if I would have just focused and knocked all the bad shit out, I could have recorded a little EP. I could have fucking put that shit on a CD, got a bunch of copies for cheap as fuck. Because back then, you just burn a CD 20 times, and CDs were cheap as shit. And then you print out a shitty little label for it and throw it on there, right? I could have done that, and I could have taken my ass right up to where that man was in New York and just passed out my EP. I could have done that shit all day long, just passed it out. And I didn't. And I had that. It's because I had this limiting mindset. I had everything at my disposal right in front of me. And my mind said, no, you can't do it. So I didn't. I don't kick myself for it as much as I used to because, like Maria said in the beginning of this, everything happens at the right time for the right reason. And the people who have come into my life, especially in the past like 5 years, have come into my life at the right times for the right reasons. People have left at the right times for the right reasons. And I feel like I needed that experience. I feel like I needed to doubt myself. And I'm not telling anybody to doubt themselves by any means, but I needed to feel that. I needed to feel that doubt. I needed to be shitty to myself so that I could appreciate when I wasn't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just talking to Maria about like, I had a conversation with my friend about like my own self-worth, and I was like, no, I have it. And he was like, no, you don't. and it's crazy because you build up so much, and you start getting to a point, and I always say I don't like being comfortable. You get to a point where you've reached something and it's better than what it was, and you're like, no, I'm good. And then something or someone reminds you like, no, there's more. Like, don't settle for where the fuck you're at right now, because there's more. And it's so funny because Maria can tell you I'm the first one to look at somebody and be like, the fuck are you doing?
Yep.
But when it comes to me, I don't have a lot of people in my life telling me those things. So when I hear those things, it's very new to me, even though it comes out of my own mouth to other people. It's very new to me. And it's nice because it makes you reflect. And when sometimes just having one person look at you or two people look at you and say something like that, and it gets your wheels turning, you start believing in yourself a little bit more. And then the next day you believe in yourself a little bit more. And then for me personally, anyways, the creativity starts to flow, and I start going, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. I can, I can do this business, and then I can build that from this, and I can make this, and it's crazy because you don't need somebody to tell you, but again, there's power in the people that you keep around you. because we're not all 100% of the time. We're not all perfect. We all do go through bouts. We all do go through times of doubt. Even if it's not the same doubt that I experienced 10 years ago, I still go through times of doubt. And so to have the right people around you who aren't going, oh, you know what, you're right, just sit there, you'll be fine, just sit there and let it happen, feel what you're, no, that's not what you need. You need people to be like, okay, listen, I hear you, but I need you to see what I see. And that's what makes you dig. Even if you think you know yourself better than ever before, there's still parts of yourself you haven't unlocked. There's potential you haven't unlocked. There's self-worth you haven't unlocked. And and to have somebody look at you and tell you to look inward, it's really powerful when it's coming from the right people. And that's why I say, like, you have to pay attention to who you're around, because if you have someone shitty looking at you saying, oh no, you're worth more, you're gonna be like, yeah, fuck you, you didn't say this shit last week. But when you have somebody who's consistently, or you have people who are consistently in your corner and building you up and reminding you to look inward, and reminding you to reflect, and reminding you of where you're going, because sometimes we lose track of where we're going. You have someone reminding you of the track that you're on and what you're trying to achieve. It's so powerful. And no, you know what? And I don't believe that anybody achieves anything alone.
Oh no, 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 no. Mm-mm. That's the truth.
Yeah, there's a village. They talk about with kids, it takes a village. It takes a village for literally fucking anything, especially if your dreams are big. It does. But the village that you create has to be very specific, and you have to be very picky, and you have to be very aware of who you're bringing onto your team, because not everybody is on your team. There are a lot of people who are on your team when you're doing great shit, and as soon as you struggle, they're not on your fucking team anymore. They're out.
That's true.
You have to be
That
so
is the
vigilant.
truth.
Mm-hmm. But no, that's just like, I'd be like, I know I'm talking a lot through this one. I'm sorry. I don't think I did
That's
a
okay.
on the
I
last
am
one.
too. I'm very passionate about this because I have a lot of experience with
Hell
this, a
yeah.
lot of it. So I'm very, very passionate about all of this.
Well, what's
So
crazy is like everybody goes through it, and it's like not everybody even recognizes that they're going through it. Like some of us just not, and I don't want to say us because it's not me, but I mean, I've been there though. But like sometimes you do this shit to yourself, but you don't realize that you're doing it to yourself, and you're just like, oh, this is just life. Like this is just life happening. This is just how people work. This is how the world works. Well, who the fuck said that? There are too many constructs put in place to keep your mind in a goddamn box, when in reality, like the world is at your fingertips. Like you have so much potential, but you have systems and families and people and whoever the fuck else telling you can't. That's not real. The odds are only stacked against you if you let them be stacked against you. You have to choose to take every failure and learn. And if you're not failing, by the way, you're fucking up. Like if you're not failing, you're
mhm.
fucking up. You have to take every failure and you got to learn, and you have to grow, and okay, well, this works, but this didn't. So I'm going to switch this. You don't get successful without falling on your ass. And that's why I am not fucking mad for where I'm at in life right now, because I'm like, okay, I'm on my ass. But what's on the
Yep.
other side of this wall is way fucking bigger than me. You know what I mean? And like, it's just you gotta push. You gotta push regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what your mind is telling you, regardless of what anybody's telling you. And nobody is going to unlock the potential within yourself but you.
Yep.
Nobody has that power. The last couple of weeks especially, but the last few months have been very empowering for me individually. You know what? And I am going to speak on this because I feel like it's important, because I feel like a lot of people, like we were talking about earlier, you take your circumstances and you run with that, and that's your worth, right? And I was in a situation where it was someone who always told me I was good enough, in the sense of like, oh, you're going to be big in your industry, you're talented, da 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 da. But when it came to anything else, my mindset, my creativity, my ideas, my passions. It was always that I was doing too much. I couldn't take it all on, and I wasn't enough, and I got beaten down so much, right? And there was a shift where if I met somebody who helped me see that that's not my worth, right? And that helped me leave that situation, right? And so So I left that situation because I was talked to like I had something to offer just as a person, right? And then from there, I know Maria can attest to this. Like my whole demeanor has been different in my mind. My mindset has shifted, and um, it's been one of those things where like I am loving myself more. And it took me, what, a month to recognize my worth again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grateful it only took me a fucking month, okay? And then, especially the last couple of weeks, it's been like this crazy energy in my life that I'm super grateful for, coming from all directions. And it's nothing but like motivation and inspiration and positivity and you can even in my own mind, like you got this, you got this, you got this. Persephone looked at me yesterday. It's my daughter, and she looked at me yesterday and she was like, I can't da 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 da. I said, first of all, we don't say that. There's nothing you can't do. um and that's something that I want to instill in my kid, and I want my kid to be surrounded by the same energy that I've been having around me lately, and that I should have been holding on to this whole time, because it's not like good energy hasn't come into my life before, but I denied it because I didn't think I deserved it. And recently I've just been soaking it all up and taking it in. I've written more than I've written in God knows how long. I've had so much more inspiration for other like ventures in my life. My creativity has been different. Like I've been designing different things for myself, and doing things that, like you talked about, I think in the last podcast. It's all that shit on the side that you do. You can have a focus, but you still have to have these other things too. And
Yep.
so all of that has been building up, and I've kind of taken a break from like doing my makeup and doing my hair and shit like that, but that's okay because I feel like I'm still inspired, and that's what's important. And as long as you have that inspiration and that drive and that motivation, like everything else will fall into place. And as long as your mindset's good and your heart's good, everything else will fall into place. But someone recently said to me for once in your life, which is funny because they didn't even know, for once in your life, just let something happen the way it's supposed to happen. Just slow down and just let things play out. And you know what? I think that's going to stick with me for a really long time, because a lot of times when we do have the motivation and we do have the mindset, we want to rush it. I'm one of those people. I jump right in and then I end up crashing and failing. And that's the lesson that I needed to learn. Stop jumping ahead first. Stop telling everybody what the fuck you're doing. Stop giving everybody all your secrets. Stop giving everybody your ideas. Because either A, you're going to get caught up in what they have to say. You're not going to get you're not going to get the feedback you want. People are going to doubt you. Someone could take your shit and run with it. Like, sometimes you just have to let the process be what it is, and you just have to like sit back and let that flow happen. And you can sit there, and if things aren't feeling the way they're supposed to feel, you can get sucked into that feeling, or you can wake up every day and go, I woke up, the sun is shining, I'm with my people, let's go. And it is a daily conscious choice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You get tired of waking up and hating yourself eventually.
That's the truth.
That's real shit. Like, I don't care. That's some real shit. I woke up and I was like, yeah, and I'm not talking about even recently. A long time ago, I woke up and I was like, I'm tired. I'm tired of not liking who the fuck I'm looking at in the mirror. I'm tired of not, appreciating myself, and I didn't feel like I was getting it from anywhere else. But it's like, how the fuck can anyone else appreciate your ass if you can't appreciate you? Because if you're not appreciating yourself, then you're not able to give off what you feel good
Mm-hmm.
about. So how can you expect anybody else to see your worth and like your true worth, not what they've decided, and see what you have to offer if you don't even see what the fuck you have to offer? Like, hello, wake the fuck up.
That's the truth. I mean, but when you finally do realize that, then you're like, why the fuck did I not do this sooner?
Yeah. Yup. I do. But you know what? And it's just like, I'm going to keep, you said that in the beginning of this podcast. I'm going to keep coming back to it. But you know what? those circumstances and the decisions that you make put you in the place to meet the people and have the opportunity. And it's like, if okay, so I didn't believe in myself for this long, and I started to, and I started growing, and when I started having that growth, I met this person. Whereas maybe if I grew a long time ago, I wouldn't have met that person, or I wouldn't have had that opportunity, or I wouldn't have gone to this place, because my situation would have been different.
Mm-hmm.
So in everything that I do, I have to be grateful that, you know, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, put me where he put me and where it put me in certain times in my life, and giving and for giving me the things I didn't know that I needed. Um and that's something that you have to take with your loss and with your failures and with your struggles. Like I ended up where I am right now because I failed with somebody who just didn't appreciate me and see my worth. But you know what? And now that I don't have the place I was living in, and I was living cozy, and I was doing, things that were good for me and whatever. But it's like, and anyone from the outside looking in would be like, you have it easy. Like, why are you mad?
Mm-hmm.
And I had all the shit that I needed, but I wasn't happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had all the things materialistically that I needed, but spiritually and intellectually and on an emotional level, like, I didn't have anything I needed. And it's so funny, like, talking about having everything and being miserable and then having nothing, and you're fine, and I'm fine. And when I said that to my ex, he was like, "You're not okay. You're not okay." I was like, "No, I am. Like, I'm super good, honestly. Like, just because I'm not showing you that I'm stoked on life, like, that doesn't mean anything." And
Yeah, exactly.
people who want to see you down, that's what they do. No, you're not. You're not good. You're not good. And if you let that voice creep in your head, that's what you're going to be telling yourself.
But that's what he wanted. That's the thing. That's what he wanted. He wanted you to not be okay because essentially wanted you back with him,
Right,
which is
right.
quite funny to think, that somebody is so delirious that they would actually think once you said you were done that you were
Done?
later on going to actually take him
Oh.
back.
Yeah, and you know what? That's another thing. Like, they're okay. I'm on so much shit today. I am so sorry, but I feel like it's all valuable. Um, that's
It
another thing.
is. It is all valuable.
That's another thing you got to pay attention to. Like, even your relationships. All right, so if you really love somebody, right? If you really, like, deeply, truly, like, unconditionally love somebody, but you're not in the same place, like, when you really love somebody and you recognize that you are not good for them, let them the fuck go. Because sometimes we don't see it, or sometimes we see it and we're scared, right? Like, my situation, I was scared. I don't know why at this point. Now I'm like, that was dumb. But I was scared. But there have been times I've looked at Mike and I've been like, listen, I'm toxic right now. I'm not good. Um, I've looked at plenty of people in my life and been like, I'm not okay right now. Like, I can't. And I'm not saying like you have to completely like blacklist yourself from people or vice versa because you're not in a good place, but sometimes you have to recognize when you need to take a step back, like when you need to reevaluate and get yourself right. And that's something I've been through a lot in like relationships and friendships, man. Like my friendships, one of my best friends, I lost her because we just weren't in the same fucking place. Like we just weren't. And my mindset was somewhere else. And you have to recognize how you make other people feel. As much as you have to recognize how other people are making you feel, you have to recognize how you make other people feel. And what's super indicative of that is when you have a conversation with somebody, is it always about me, is it sad? Is it depressing? Are you complaining? And I know that I do my fair share, but I try to vent shit out and then be like moving on. But you can ask Maria, even when I vent, I'll be like, but this, like, and I'm like, oh, silver lining, it's fine.
Right.
Like I'm always trying to look for something positive, um, but you have to recognize, man, like you have to recognize when you're hurting somebody else. And I think that's a hard lesson. Like we're selfish, we're people, we're humans, we're selfish, we want what we want. And it's easy to look at somebody and be like, no, do what I want you to do because I'm comfortable, because I want you here, because I need something from you, so I need you to do what I want you to do. But it's so much harder but it comes from such a better place when you have so much love for somebody else to be like, go do what's going to make you the best version of yourself. And in my situation, I just didn't have that. I've never really had that. Like, I mean, I'll say like Mike's always been super supportive of me and I appreciate that. But aside from that, I've been around friendships and relationships that have been very diminishing, honestly, and they're very selfish, and I don't have that kind of heart. Like, I just don't. If I have to let you go, I have to let you go, even if I don't fucking want to. But I want everybody that I love and care about to be at a whole different level. I want them to fulfill their potential. I want them to be the best they can be. And if I'm not good for them at that point, or if it's not in the cards at that point, then it's not in the cards at that point, and that's okay. But you have to have faith that the people who are going to make themselves better, if you're growing alongside them in the process, like Maria and I don't see each other as much as we'd want to. We sometimes each fall off. Sometimes we're not in the best place. But at the end of the day, like, we're always pushing each other to be better. And if Maria falls off for a little bit, I get that she needs space. If I fall off for a little bit, she gets that I need space. And it's like this unconditional love that you have to have for people, to just understand that, like, sometimes your energy isn't fucking needed. And that hits people's egos really hard, but that's why you have to drop your ego at every door you walk through. Every door you walk through, because as soon as you feel like, oh, somebody needs me, oh, somebody, oh, you're not talking to me, oh, you're a piece of shit, whatever, that's your ego talking. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and just let shit happen, and just have faith that it's all going to work out. When you really love people, like, that's what you have to do. You can't be selfish. Love is not selfish at all.
No, it is not. It is not.
No, that shit's hard too. Look, don't get look, Maria. Look, you heard it in my voice. Maria already knows. Maria,
Yeah.
yeah, that shit's hard. That's super hard. But you know what? Like, sometimes the right thing to do is the hardest shit to do. Like, it sucks.
That is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Very much the truth.
Look, my damn heart melted real quick. My bad. Oof. Get me all up in my head. I swear, like, your mind can be a beautiful place or a dark place. It all has to do with perspective. It
Exactly.
all and
Hang on. That was my son saying hello. It's like,
oh, hi.
I'm trying to record.
No, they're fine. They're fine. Oof. I know I like really went in on this today. I'm so sorry for talking so much, but
No, I mean, it's a good subject. That's why I wanted to talk about it. So it was like that day, it was like really, really speaking to me. I was just like
mm-hmm.
sitting there. And then of course, me, when I am listening to music, I have my interpretation of what I feel that it means to
Mm-hmm.
me. But I always have to look up the artist what the
Mm-hmm.
artist's viewpoint is. That's how I am when someone
Mm-hmm.
speaks to me. I always have to do that. I have to look and see what viewpoint the other person had. And then I read that and I was just like, oh. I immediately sent it to Heather, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, man, we need to talk about self-sabotage.
Well, it's crazy, like, how deep it gets too, because a lot of people thinking about self-sabotage and they're like, oh yeah, I fucked that up for myself. And like, yeah, but why? And
Right.
that's like that with anything in life. Like, we don't ask ourselves why. We don't dig enough. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. And I think with us, it's just not only because we're empaths, we think a little more deeply into things, but the fact that, we've been through all of that and we've been through all the therapy. So we automatically analyze shit.
Yeah, and like sometimes it's such a detrimental thing, and you have to trust your mind to be able to, like, your mind is the most powerful thing that you have on you, and that's why, I we both talk about nurturing it so much. Your mind's the most powerful thing you have, and you have to learn to sort properly because you're going to lie to yourself a lot.
Oh yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and you have to, Maria said you go through the therapy and everything, and you start analyzing. And sometimes when you analyze, you lie to yourself, and because you want to look at things from different perspectives. And not every perspective is right. And sometimes you start believing the wrong perspective, and
Mhm.
that alone can instill doubt within yourself. But yeah, sometimes you don't look at the right one, and you have to be able to sort through, like, okay, I can break this down, but what's real?
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. I'm messing with you, Blender.
you're funny. It's so funny. Like, I'm going through some shit right now, and it's so funny because I have my perspective on it, and I stress, and Maria's like, Heather, it's gonna be fine, and Mike's like, Heather, you're gonna be fine, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
Well, when
You
you're
know,
in the middle of it, it seems like the end of the world. Trust me.
it does, yeah, and you have to. It's so hard to learn to remove yourself,
Hmm.
and your own feelings, like, to, especially like with people that you care about, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your kid, whether it's whatever. um it's, oh god, it's so hard to take your own heart out of things, but sometimes
It
that's what
is.
you have to do, and that's something I'm still learning how to do personally.
It's hard. It's difficult. I know. Been there, done that.
What? No way.
in my 41 years.
Mm-mm-mm.
But you know, shit. Heather's learned a hell of a lot more than me in my 41 years in her 28 years. Trust me.
Not not in ways I wanted to be clear. Like, I'm so grateful. I've had so many people be like, you're so wise for your age, or like, you've seen so much more than you should have had to before, you hit where you're at in life. And I'm just like, and it's crazy because I'm very grateful for the mindset that I have, and I'm very grateful for the lessons I've learned and for the heart that I have. But damn, like, sometimes I'm like, you know what? Sometimes, I'm like, they say ignorance is bliss, and I'm like, sometimes I
Right.
wish my ass was ignorant, but at the same time, I don't. It's a blessing because by being where I'm at and by going through the things I've gone through, I get to share and I get to connect with people on different levels, and I get to help other people, and without even knowing it. And I'm not saying that to like boost myself up. I'm saying that because I've heard it. Like, I get to help people without even knowing that I'm helping people, and I get to share that. I get to share what, my experiences and my mind with other people, and it makes a difference. So, as much as I could sit back, again, we talk about letting your circumstances define things. I could sit back and go, oh man, all this shit happened to me. All this shit fucked me up. And in reality, like, it didn't happen to me. It happened for me, and it gave me something to give back to other people. It gave me something, it gave me a little bit of power within myself that not a lot of people have. And I consider myself blessed for all the shit I've been through, like, good, bad, and different, because I will never take my life for granted. That's a real thing. I
Yeah. Same one my husband is too. I mean, a lot of
love him.
people that ask. My husband is an ass. He is. He'll admit it himself. But they also, a lot of people also say he's got a very, very positive attitude and a very positive, a different aspect, outlook in life, for someone in his situation, in
Hmm.
his situation. And that just annoys the crap out of me every time somebody says that. Um, but those of you that don't know, my husband's in a wheelchair. He is the most able-bodied person that I know, and he is not one of those, why did this happen to me? Sitting there sulking and asking why. He just gets shit done, you know.
Can't admit
And
his vocabulary either. Not at all.
but he gets stuff done, and that's impacted me as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that I could say that I can't do, but if I have somebody over here with very limited things on that they can do, but they sure as hell find a way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, then why am I sitting here thinking that I can't do something? You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
got to look at it on that aspect. So, yeah, I mean, people come into your life for a reason, and you know,
Ugh.
look at it that way. Good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Look at it that way. People do come into your life for a reason. What lesson do you have to learn? You know, ask yourself
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Because I sure as hell had to learn a valuable lesson with certain people in my life.
Yeah.
And I learned it the hard way, but, you know, I learned
Yeah.
it.
I was recently told that. Like, there's a bigger reason. I'm like, I know.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yeah, I know,
irritating.
right? Like, why? Why? Why did I have to go through that? Because I sure as hell went through like a year of fucking depression because of it. Why?
Right. It's so, you know what? That's so funny because I literally like, I was like, oh my God. I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but I was just like, I just, I want to ask God why. Like, why?
Mm,
Why did this happen? Why did this happen at this time? Why is this circumstance the way it is? Like, I want to understand why because it doesn't make any goddamn sense to me, and like sometimes that shit happens. Like bad things happen to us and we ask why, but sometimes good shit fucking happens to us and then it shifts and you're like, damn it, why? It's like, but at the end of the day, like you have to, and when I'm good, I don't express those feelings because I really just try to keep it in my mind of like everything's good, like everything, the life will play out how it's supposed to. But if you feel those things, you're not wrong. You're allowed to ask why, but just be patient, be willing enough to be patient to see it through. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, you're allowed to ask why. Just be patient enough to figure it out.
mm-hmm. And be open to it, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It may suck when you're going through what you're going through, but just be open to learning,
Hell yeah.
you know? And know that you're not alone. There's so many people going through shit right now. Know that
Yeah.
you're not alone, you know? It comforts me when I know I'm not alone.
Yeah. Fucking same. Like, I don't want anyone else to go through it, but like, damn, I don't want to be the only one going through it either.
The truth.
Right, right, right.
Truth. So yeah, so I'm gonna segue into cutting it off here because
That's
we are
fine.
over an hour.
Always.
Um, yeah, always. But I'm getting good at saying, okay, we got to cut it off. So I'm getting good at that. We're not hour and a half anymore because there was an hour and 40-minute one in there somewhere.
But you know what? At least we like give a lot.
Yeah, it's just we have a lot to say. We have learned a lot. We have a lot to say, and these are kind of like our little therapy sessions because learn from our mistakes.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes it's empowering to sit here and do this, honestly.
Yep.
It's good.
Learn from our mistakes. And
Yeah.
yeah, not only that, there is such thing as talk therapy.
Hmm.
Talking shit out, and you're done and over with, and you come out, you're like, all right, I feel good. Now what am I gonna do?
Right, right, right.
It does happen. So that's our this is our little weekly Maria and Heather therapy session.
It's good.
All right. Well, we will see you guys later. We love you, and hopefully we'll see you next week. We don't know what happens. It's
Yeah,
life.
it is.
So we will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.